Welcome to Matt Chronicles. Once again, 1865 Rod here. I got Schaefer in the house once again, as always.
Wu-Tang.
What up, Schaefer?
What's happening? What's happening? So what are we talking about? I know this is going to be a good one.
Man, we're talking about white belts, man. Woo. Honestly, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All the above, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, listen, we all started white belt, right? Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we've all been there.
And you're talking to a guy that spent a long time at white belt, too.
Yeah, I did a good chunk at white belt, I think.
How long were you white belt?
Maybe just under 2 years.
I was a white belt for 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
But there's a caveat, though. We had 6 stripes.
Yeah.
So maybe we were doing it 2 years. I don't know, but it was still a minute.
Yeah, I think I did just under 2 years. I'm gonna have to ask John because he has he keeps really, really good records of all our stuff. Like he has every single one of my promotions, every one of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, nice. He had everything.
I mean, so I was just thinking about like the white belts because we have a lot of white belts in our school right now.
Yeah.
And actually, our school is pretty balanced, to be honest.
Remember
last year it was all white belts. Now we got blues, purples,
right.
brown. We're getting pretty
people
balanced.
moving on up.
We still do have a lot of people that still join up. And white belts, the flip side is a lot of people leave at white belt too, right?
Absolutely.
They find out, oh man, this is too hard.
Well, a lot of time they're bailing because they're searching. They're trying to find their school.
Yeah. Or it could be like, this isn't for me. Like, this is just too tough. I didn't realize it was going to be this,
There's a lot of that.
On. So, like, what can we do to at least present jiu-jitsu the best way? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's up to us. We can present it in a really negative way, and they're definitely going to bounce.
Right.
And we can also do the best things possible to show them the benefits, because it's a great sport. I love the sport.
For sure.
I'm sold on it, right?
Yeah.
I'm an ambassador for jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
But to get to that level, you have to present it appropriately.
I agree. We have to have, like you said, balance, which, my old team was Team Balance. They're still my team. But correct, man. If you don't get white belts off on a good start, like when they walk in the door, they should start liking it immediately. They should get a good feeling and go, oh damn, yeah, this is the place for me. I can do this. And they need encouragement, right? I mean, I know we joke and say, hey, white belts are food, and they are, man. Like I said, they are food, but they get to grow into those sharks that get to then consume food themselves. Like they got to get there. Yeah, dude. I mean, when you walk in the door, right? I mean, what do? I have my little basic starter pack for white belts, right? Oh, yeah. They come in, they're like, hey, I'm such and such, and I keep walking by the school here, and I'm interested. I was like, or hey, my cousin or my uncle or my whoever, a buddy of mine from college, they did jiu-jitsu or they were doing it for a while, and I'm kind of interested. They keep telling me jiu-jitsu's for everyone. So, so I want to try it out. They come in, we get them signed up, sign that waiver, just in case they, sign that waiver. If you
sign the waiver, you own a school, sign the waiver.
Good Lord, yeah, make sure you got a waiver, because all you need is that first day. Say, hey, I'm going to show you how to do this judo roll. I'm like, oh, my neck and my back. Then you got a lawsuit. But they usually come in. I'll try to talk to them a little bit. I'll try to suss out whether they're looking at this for like a self-defense thing. Did they want to come in because they were like, hey, you know what? I was getting bullied a long time ago, and I don't want that to happen anymore. Or, hey, if somebody jumps on me in the Walmart parking lot, I want to be able to protect my old lady, or whatever the case may be.
Do you see a common theme at all?
I do. I see the common theme that, well, okay, it's changed. I think the old common theme was, I'm looking for self-defense.
Facts.
I'm looking to be able to handle myself a little bit better. I want to feel confident. I want to feel secure just walking around, just average everyday life, right?
Yeah.
If somebody
that was me, basically. That was why I joined.
See, there you go.
Fight,
Right? Same here.
It's the best way.
Yeah. I went into jiu-jitsu after the Army, so it's like I was cool as far as the fighting stuff, but I was like, you know what? I could do better. I want to learn more. And I think I told the story about how I got my ass kicked immediately, and I was like, oh, I walked in thinking I was going to do some shit.
Jiu-jitsu is a reality check.
Yeah, it was a reality check, dude.
Like, you think you can fight, but you fight against a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah,
untrained
it's crazy.
guy,
it's crazy.
I
mean, within their rule set, of course. I mean, that's the other part, right? Within their rule set, or with minimal rules, yes, it's very, very dangerous. I mean, hell, Hoist Gracie proved that throughout the UFC. Wow. So when they first come in, back in the day, it was a lot of self-defense. I think it's become more widespread to the point where people recognize it as a sport and want to come kind of do it as a sport or a good workout.
So it's attracting a different demographic now.
I think so. I mean, it's a wider demographic.
Yes.
So different, yes.
I mean, you still have
but more encompassing. I think that I still think it catches the
I agree.
I want to do self-defense, but it's really pushed out there to, hey, man, you know what? I saw my buddy lose like 75 pounds. Or, hey, man, you know what? I saw that my friend's kid who was in school was getting bullied, and now they're kind of doing this, and I want to bring my kid in because I want them to have more self-confidence. Like, I remember teaching the kids class, man. Our kids classes are little monsters, right? Like, they feel very confident in school, and you can see that confidence grow as you're teaching those classes. And that's awesome. And we even had little stories, hey, somebody grabbed a little kid, boom, put him in a yoke. It is what it is. I mean, he didn't hurt the guy, which is awesome. But
that's still like in the self-defense.
And that was the self-defense
so
realm.
Now we're getting guys that just I just think I want to do it. It's going to be fun. It's a sport. Maybe they're watching UFC.
Right.
Which means that you're getting guys that are super athletic too now. They're just
for sure.
These guys, maybe they wrestled throughout high school, maybe a little bit of college wrestling.
Bunch of football guys.
Or they're just, I don't know, they could have done freaking breakdancing for all I know. We're just getting some super athletic guys nowadays where we didn't see that in the past.
For sure.
Maybe 10% would be super athletic. 90% would have to just learn technique. That's why it was jiu-jitsu. It was like, oh, you just learn the technique.
Right. It was
not anymore.
Technique over everything.
What did you say earlier? We were just talking about it. You said something about it's attracting the top athletic.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you are going to pursue this as a sport and try to get into the upper echelons of it, athleticism is key. I mean, even more so if you ask me than technique. I mean,
you can't learn athleticism.
I mean, look how many times we see you can be a decent purple belt, but your athleticism so good and so top tier that you'll overcome black belts. You'll overcome black belts with 20 years of training in there who's just not as athletic. I mean, if you're a big jack dude and you learn fast, you can follow instructions and you understand where your body is in space.
Or even a little guy like Demetrius Johnson, like he mopped up everybody.
Yeah, well, but his athleticism.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's not
tier.
big.
He's little, but he's a top tier UFC fighter, fighting at the highest level possible.
He's got
in the gi, in the freaking gi. Dude.
His engine is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like
they just couldn't hang.
Correct. People can't keep up. So yeah. Big guy, small guy. I'll say it like this. He was a big version of a small guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying all things compared equally size-wise, sure. You got a guy 145, 150 pounds, and another guy 145, 150 pounds. One guy is a D1 athlete. The other one's your average Joe. Well, the athleticism from that D1 athlete is going to shine.
Oh, yeah.
You're not out techniquing shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. That's why and it comes to realization when you roll with a wrestler. Roll with the college wrestler.
Yeah.
That'll be very apparent real quick, like, oh, man, this is a fight right now.
For sure.
It's tough.
But you also can't take away, right? Because here's the next thing. And then I still have to go back to but if you take that college wrestler, right? Or no, shit, that's not even fair. If you are about to learn jiu-jitsu, and this is your first day in jiu-jitsu, and this guy was about to learn wrestling, and it was his first day in wrestling, you guys are on equal playing field then. Yeah. And then if you say, okay, now we're both coming up at the same time, well, then you're dealing with something that's a fair assessment. It's a fair assessment of it, right? But yeah, if you're a white belt, but you've also got 15 years of wrestling under your belt versus a guy who does, he was like a freaking accountant and now he wants to try his hand at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. We're not even talking about the same type of animal at this point in time. You're like, all things being equal, including amount of time doing some kind of combat sport. Yeah. Then jiu-jitsu, you'll be just as good as a guy who's just learning how to wrestle.
That's why the belts are really deceiving in a way.
Yeah, they can be massively deceiving.
So subjective.
Right. So white belts, right? Day one white belt, never did anything. Used to play Dungeons and Dragons instead. Never freaking did a push-up. Now he's going to decide to come in and do some jiu-jitsu. And I'm not knocking Dungeons and Dragons because I love Dungeons and Dragons. I played it all growing up. But they show up and they're like, "Hey, I saw the sports stuff. It's cool. I also would like to be able to defend myself. You know what I mean? If I get out there and somebody jumps on me, at a club or whatever, and also, I want to drop a couple lbs and I want to maybe get in shape. I want to see. So it could be this amalgamation of all these different wants." And that's how they show up day one. And when they show up, I usually try to introduce them to a simple series that I'll go, "Hey, listen, you know what? Cool. Self-defense aspect. Let's say maybe you got hit, you fell, you grabbed the guy, you kind of pulled him down into your guard." So I teach them the guard. I teach them simple stuff, right?
I like that. You got to learn that first, I think. 'Cause that's the essence of jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
It is a martial art. If you're a sport guy and you don't know self-defense, I think
you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, you got to at least know some self-defense.
And even in sports, even in teaching sports, you still teach it. You teach so many of the same moves that they will naturally pick it up.
Yeah.
But at least with me in the beginning doing it as a self-defense thing, I also immediately get them thinking, "Oh yeah, remember, they might try to hit you.
Yeah.
They might try to bite you. They might try to elbow you, knee you, do all these other things," right? So the reason we have that guard is to neutralize all of those things. Whereas if I were just saying sport, I'd say, "Hey, put him in this guard so that you can do this upside down windmill flip thing the whole time leaving your face open." So I wouldn't, I try not to teach it that way in the beginning.
Well, it's like a guy getting stuck in mountain. He's just defending really tight, and it's really hard to break out of that, right?
Right.
But you could just punch his face.
Yeah, I mean, you punch him a few times,
so he's
and
almost exploiting the fact that you can't hurt him. Like,
exactly.
Trying to escape out of mountain.
So what I did, with Hassett, we used to, we would just slap each other. I mean, it's like if you're sitting there and you're if you're really just sitting there, they just kind of start smacking you in the head, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, I got to open that up." Which is also, if you ever watch old Gracie in action and stuff like that, that's what they do. They would just start smacking the guy up a little bit, and then they'll open up. He was So
okay, so like a white belt coming in,
right.
What advice do you have for them? Like, who should they work with? Who should they roll with? What should they roll right out of the gate? I know a lot of schools are like, well, some are extreme. I don't know. Now I think it's pretty much laxed. Like, they threw me the first day I started rolling.
Different schools have different philosophies on rolling, early on. I think that
day one white belt, are you rolling?
If I have day one white belts roll, and yes, I think they can, because
you've never wrestled, you're the accountant guy.
Yeah, I would still let them see it, but I would have them go against somebody who's way higher up belt wise, and I would say, "Okay, listen," or if I have a really, really trusted, hell, I guess it doesn't have to be higher up. A really trusted person, somebody who I know is not like, "Oh shit, here's my time to fuck somebody up because I've been getting beat up."
Yeah,
but if it's I got a blue belt, got a purple belt, they can flow roll for real.
Yeah.
They can check their ego and go, "Hey, I'm going to actually work with this guy who doesn't know shit and at least let them see what it's like."
I think really what's funny about that is that I know we always say work with the upper belts. It's really the personality of the guy, though, at the end of the day. Because, there's a white belt at our school. He's probably one of the best guys to roll with. He's the smoothest. He's really smooth. And he just works with you basically, right?
Yeah,
but
for
then
sure.
There's other white belts that just have the white belt spaz. Now he's an outlier because most white belts aren't that. But then you have upper belts that maybe would roll a little bit more aggressively,
right?
Than they should. So it comes down to the personality of the guy.
But our upper belts, I don't know that they would do something to hurt a brand new, never before rolled person.
Group. Oh no,
right?
We're solid.
Now I'm sure there are those type of guys out there. Luckily, we haven't. I haven't run across that in my schools that I've been at. But if the guy's coming in, he wants to roll, I would let them. I say, "Hey, here's what I need you to do. First things first, I want you to get in this guy's guard, and I don't want you to hit him. I don't want you to bite him. And you got to lay that out, right? It's like, because this is not a fight. You're just going to try to figure out this whole jiu-jitsu thing, and you're going to see how much you don't know. You're going to just get the tip of the iceberg of how much you don't know. And I'm like, just open this guy's legs and get around him. And they realize, holy shit, I can't. I just cannot get from between this person's legs. So yeah, maybe if I was able to punch him, maybe I could punch him. But again, day one, I would not let them throw any punches or anything like that, or even like light slaps, because I just don't know. So, but I would say, figure it out. How do you get out? How do you get out without punching or biting or kicking? And let them try. And then it's like, I'm actually stuck. And I say, okay, cool. Do that to him. Right? I'm like, now let's switch it around. I'm like, just don't let him out. Just hold him. Just make it so that you're holding this guy down until the police get here. Just don't let him leave. All he's going to do is get up and leave. Like, stop him from doing it.
I think that you have to give them an objective. If you don't, like, they have no idea what to do. Right. So I'll usually say, look, this is what I'm trying to do, and I'll get a mount. I'm going to try to get a full mount on you. Just don't let me get that.
Right.
And, of course, I'm going, like, really light, let him work a little bit, and then we'll reverse it. So that's your objective. Your objective is to get a mount on me. Just try it.
Right.
And just do what your instincts tell you. Just let's see what you got.
And
You're
that's the
see
thing.
What you don't know, basically.
Yep. Use your instincts minus the biting, kicking, punching. You can't do those things. I want you to manhandle this person that you're rolling against to get to a better position. And usually they just can't do it. I mean, unless you get those outliers like, oh, I can figure this out. I've been wrestling for 15 years or 18 years. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. But we said we're speaking specifically about the day one accountant.
We're talking about the accountant.
Yeah. All he does is crunch numbers and watch like Suits on TV or something. Yeah.
Okay, so let's back it up. Even go before that, you're the white belt, and you're thinking of a school. Like, what do you recommend should be your criteria? Because they don't know. They might say, oh, I heard of this is cool. I'm going to go here. Oh, they do jiu-jitsu. What are they basing their decision on? Probably nothing. I had a good vibe when I went. Right. Oh, it was cool.
Yeah. So. Cool.
But the guy could be cool, but you may go into a school and it's just not really the best fit for you.
So first things first, I would see whether or not I know anyone who does jiu-jitsu. If you know someone who does jiu-jitsu and they can actually give you word of mouth suggestions, first things first, that's the way to go. So it's like, if you know that Tim in HR he does a jiu-jitsu every once in a while, or the guy in maintenance, I heard he said something about I'm a purple belt under the Gracies, blah blah blah. Cool. Ask him. Say, hey man, you know what? Just wondering, what's the deal? Like, where do you go? What do you do? Like, is the place pretty cool? How much does it cost? All these different things you can ask them.
What if you don't know anybody?
If you don't know anybody, well, GTS, GTS, Google that shit. I mean, you can.
But shouldn't you? Okay, at the end of the day, though, would you go down to the school? Like, if you go to the school, you're sniffing it out. What are you looking for?
Well, but again, before I do any of that, I'm not just going to show up. I'd actually do a little piece of research. I would get online. I would go to their website. I would go check out like some YouTube videos. I would go see the reviews if they have Google reviews and all. Okay, before I even spend my time and go hitting all these different places. I'm not going to go from door to door. I do a piece of research.
Let's say you narrowed it down to 3. You narrowed it down to 3 on YouTube. You did your due diligence. You got 3. Now you're saying, I'm going to go visit these 3 schools. Now, what are you looking for? Are there and this just for the white belts?
For sure. So now I've narrowed it down to these 3.
Yeah.
I would call, and I would actually try to speak to somebody there. I'd speak to whoever. You say, find out when your classes are. I mean, I guess you probably know when the classes are. Say, hey, I want to come in. I've never done this before. What's the first class I should come to? Like, what day do you think would be a good day for me to come? Because this guy might tell you, the owner goes, oh yeah, shit, you know what? If he shows up on a Thursday, this is our fucking killer class. That makes no sense. I'm not going to drop him in there in the middle of the fucking Shark Tank, right? Whereas I know my Tuesday class, I got a lot of beginners. It'll be a perfect fit for him. So he might tell you that. So I would call and I would speak to somebody, and they might tell you. Or if you feel like doing it live, you can just show up and say, hey, but you're still asking the same question. So I'm just saying, don't waste your fucking time driving around all over the place if you can make a phone call, right? So, but however, whether it be phone call, freaking carrier pigeon, or you show up, whatever. Like
at some point you have to go in there.
You need to figure out what day should I show up, and you should ask people that. Like you should really ask the people who work there or who are the people who fight there or something, right?
Yeah.
So then when you've decided, let's say now school 1 says come in on a Tuesday because that's our beginner introductory class. School 2 says, hey, you know what? Come in on a freaking Thursday because that's our introductory class. And then school 3 goes, oh, fuck it, just come in anytime. Doesn't matter, man. And it's, oh, shit, okay. Well, any one of those might be the right fit, right?
Yeah.
Because you might, now let's go into our introductory class.
So,
I'm saying, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what I would do is I would ask number one, what's the vibe of the school? Is this a self-defense school or is this a sports school? I need to know that right out of the gate. Like, and now maybe I don't know to ask that as a white belt.
Right.
I think I might though, because you might know what.
Remember, we're talking about freaking Tim from accounting.
Yeah,
Never
Tim from
did any
accounting.
of this.
But
Okay.
he might say like, hey, I want to learn how to fight. So maybe he doesn't know that, but maybe now because it's more proliferated, maybe he will know now. Maybe this video will help him know. But that's something that I would ask. Do you guys focus on sport competitions? In which case, maybe that wouldn't be the best fit for him, Nick, right? You're going to do all this 2 points. You got a knee on belly, and then you jump off, then you go back on.
Hell yeah.
Right? You know, the cat and mouse game. Maybe he wants to learn how to fight.
Yep.
Right?
Shit.
And then that's one thing. Then I would also ask, like, is this going to be, are you guys doing is it all gi? Is it all, because, like, if it's all gi all the time, like, maybe for some people, again, they don't know. So they would just accept it. Next thing you know, oh, I love the gi because you didn't really have a choice. But if you do know, and that's why we're giving this information out now, I would ask because self-defense, you want to learn both. You're not going to always wear something, you know, like I have a sweater on right now, and it's a cardigan.
Right.
I'm bringing the cardigans back.
It's like JT, I'm bringing sexy back.
Right? No, but you may not know, right?
Yeah,
You
for
may
sure.
not know.
So yeah, that's totally legit. I mean, ask self-defense or ask gi and no gi.
Gi or no gi is important.
Keep in mind, this is your response is going to be, oh yeah, we do both. We do both.
Now that's facts right there.
I mean, that's
what you just said is 100%.
instantly.
We do both.
Instantly, because first of all, nobody's trying to fucking lose a customer. Yeah, they're gonna lie because they're trying to keep customer. It's still a business.
We must keep the art pure.
Yeah, well, shit. Listen, I am for keeping the art pure. I'm like.
Look, and there's nothing wrong if you're gonna do all gi. That's cool, but I think if there's a guy that says, "Man, I just want to learn self-defense only," I think I don't know. You know, it may not even be relevant because I think most schools now they do throw a lot of no gi in.
Yeah.
So this could be like a little bit of an antiquated.
Well. Yeah, I don't know how many people
right now that does not do
right
no-gi.
or who are just asking for sheer self-defense as a new person.
I'll say this though. This is how you can tell that the school will shape you because we've had guys that were at our school and all they did was no gi, and they go to other schools now all they do is gi.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love the gi when they're here.
Oh no, you'll
adapt to what your school gives you. It's not. Do you really like it or like what? Are you just accepting what?
This just happens to be what we do here. So. And I always say, and I feel that I was very, very blessed to start off where I started off. Starting with John, we got gi and no gi like right away, like really quickly. It was like 1 week on, 1 week off, and I think that was awesome. I think maybe in the beginning, it might have been a lot more gi, but then I know we set it once he got that thing set up where he was hitting it 50-50. Shout out to Ryan Hall, right? Ryan Hall. Once he had it going like that, I think that was the best. I think it was the best way. And but I wouldn't have known that.
You know what's funny? That's what Gus did because I remember when I first started, it was all gi. But there's a caveat. In the summertime, he would switch 1 week gi, 1 week no gi.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't want to miss a whole week. And I was like, dang, I hate the no gi. Because when you start, you want the grips, right?
Yes.
You want your little security, right? So I would dread the no gi, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to miss a whole week. I'm just going to go. So I would start going. And he kind of forced me into it. And now I love no gi. I like no gi more, basically. But it took, a long time to get to that point. Yep. And now we just do 1 week gi, 1 week no gi. So I think that's the best strategy to give everybody a chance.
The reason that works so well is because what you're saying, because nobody wants to go a whole week.
Skip, we have no gi. We do it every Tuesday night or every Wednesday. I'm just not going to go on Wednesday.
Exactly.
I'm going to go on Thursday night gi.
I mean, look, Esther, she hated the gi,
hated
and
gi.
now she's
No, she
like
hated the
she's
no-gi.
comfortable. Or I'm sorry, she hated no gi. Yes, she hated no gi, and now she's super
She's
comfortable with
comfortable with
both.
it now. She may not like it as much, but Esther is comfortable in no gi.
Yeah, and I remember when we made the switch.
Her to like
She was like, "Oh shit."
sucks.
She's like, I don't even know if it would have
I
come.
want to say, like, she came to train with us. It was recently, and I think it was a no-gi class. And
Probably.
she was fine.
Oh,
She didn't
it doesn't
even
matter.
sweat it.
It doesn't matter
She
now.
didn't even sweat it.
Absolutely not.
Like, that conversation didn't even come up. She just
It's
said,
like, just tell me how to show up.
Yeah, should I bring a gi or not? I was like, no gi. Okay.
That's it, which is awesome.
Shout out to Esther, man.
So
That's character development.
hell yeah, it is. So when you do show up and you do ask, I mean, you're probably going to be lied to.
You're probably gonna be like,
Yeah, they're going to be like, yeah, we do it all.
no, they're like,
Whatever,
what do you wanna do?
whatever you want to do, that's
I wanna
what we
focus on
do.
wrestling tape. That's what
We got it. We do takedowns every week. You know, like whatever it is. So you're going to get that, and that's why you kind of just have to pop in and
check it out.
you meet some people, meet the people, because that's the real reason you stay or leave. It's the people that you meet. It's the camaraderie between all the people that you actually work with.
It's the people that they create the culture.
For sure.
Right.
Like you show up and you go, okay, well, this is my first day. I really don't know anybody. But they were nice. They're helping me. I didn't know how to do, this shrimp thing, this elbow escape stuff. And, but the guy helped me and he showed me. And, here's a blue belt who's like, oh, yeah, you do it this way. That's good. If they're inviting, if they're there, if they're open to helping you, it's cool. You'll sometimes get a standoffish crowd because, especially people who've been there for years and years and years, a lot of times they're just not going to do much because they don't want to really get too invested in you if you're going to leave anyway. They're like, well, let's wait for them to be here for a while before we learn who the hell they are, And that's, hey, it is what it is. That's how it works. It's like everybody's not your best friend the day you walk in the door.
It should be welcoming, though. I think
It should certainly be welcoming.
That's why that day one is really important.
Yes, it should certainly be welcoming. Now, unless you're going to, if you're trying to get into like one of these super duper ultra competitive gyms, I mean, they'll usually be very welcoming as well, but you're going to work a lot harder. You're going to work a lot harder to fit in.
You walk in day one, you're an accountant going into AOJ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
is Andre here?
I mean, it's listen, but I mean, they still
They build you up.
They have to They still have to bring you in day one.
Here at AOJ.
But they're going to tell you probably, hey, these are the classes you go to. You're not just going to jump in and say, oh, I would like to roll with your top competitors. It's like, nah, dude, that's you're wasting their time. Yeah. So as a white belt, you come in. You've spoken to the different instructors or the different representatives, because it's not necessarily an instructor, the different representatives of those schools. And let's say it's one. So we did the ones that have these segmented classes. Like, hey, these are our beginner classes. And then you got other schools where they go, hey, it doesn't matter, man. Just drop in any class. Doesn't freaking matter. Boom, 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 boom. We got you. Well, when you do drop into classes like that, it can be extremely overwhelming because let's say you happen to just show up and it's a freaking advanced class. It's an advanced gi class, and they actually let you come in and try to get down with purple belts and brown belts and a couple of black belts. Yeah, they're here trying to do some shit. They're doing advanced moves, and you don't even know how to tie your belt. That could be problematic. So if the school is just saying, hey, fuck it, just show up and we got you, and then they can't actually separate you out and really address your needs, that might not be the space for you.
Yeah. I was thinking back about when I was talking about the personality. I know I'm kind of going back a little bit.
Yeah, that's all good.
But it's funny because I'm thinking about like different white belts that showed up over the years.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's so different because, and this is, I would say don't do this, because you get some white belts like they know nothing, and they're trying to rip your head off. Like really, dude, like, bro. And then that's when you kind of have to just like shut them down. You submit them like 6 times.
Well,
and just stop them. You have to.
See, I don't know. I think
all
right.
If they're coming at you super aggressive day one, and they're trying to like, maybe they got a little something, they watch some UFC or something, they're trying to come at you. Yeah, I shut those guys down, dude. I have to.
But then you got to ask yourself, why are you actually rolling against them versus just giving them, just giving them, positional training? Why not just say?
In the context of, let's say it's actually a live roll.
That's
And there's a
yeah.
white
That's what
belt
I
that
don't
comes
know.
in, you slap hands,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's my first day, and they come at you like a banshee.
Right.
Then you have
That's
to shut
why
them
you
down,
don't.
I think you have to out of the sport. You have to show them to show that the sport is effective. In my opinion,
I
Otherwise,
get
they'd be
you.
like, this sport sucks, man.
Right.
I came in off the street, man. You couldn't even do nothing. So,
But that's why I'm also not too big on really letting them roll day one, because why are you fucking rolling with a black belt day one period where you're actually trying to compete with him? It's like if you're doing that, then
people are weird.
Yeah, but
I'd say most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to be pretty chill and pretty mellow, and they're going to just roll. Some
but you
people
can
are like
negate.
wet noodles, they fall. But other people are like
for sure,
right in the middle, and other people, and some people, a smaller percentage, are
super aggressive.
And those people,
so
I'm talking about
that super aggressive outlier would still be controlled if you were to just have a set where you go, no, you don't get to roll day one. Here's what you get to do. You get to work these moves. You get to work on passing the guard. You get to work on this. I don't really need you to go try to fight him and beat him, because what are you bringing? What skill set are you bringing to actually do that? Because if I'm telling you can't punch and you can't kick and you can't bite, well, I'm already giving you a rule set, and I'm giving you a rule set that has now taken away any of your natural abilities. So, yeah, all they're going to be is aggressive and spazzy and grab you and just try to shake you and hold you and try to fold you in half. But they can't do it.
You'll gas out.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not going to even have them go in there and try that. What I would rather have them do is gas out trying to just get my legs from around you. Gas out from I'm mounted on you, like you were saying. I have mount. Just get out. You can't punch, kick, or bite me. Go ahead and get out.
Man, times have changed.
Why?
My very first role. My very first role of all was with Caveman.
Yeah,
no. Here's the funny part too. He's like, "All right, come on, man. You're in a street fight. You're gonna die on the street right now. Let's bring." Caveman was like,
right. And so,
he dude. He's trying to murder me.
But again, now we're talking about the culture of the school, though.
I remember gassing out like 2 minutes. I was like, he's like, "Come on, man. You're gonna die. We're in a street fight right now." Okay, let me try again.
Well,
hey man, it humbled me though. It humbled me.
Yes. Well, dude, I told you, I
fought
with
Monkey Feet.
I fought day one.
And it didn't get any better.
Yeah, I fought day one. And look, I got tossed to a fucking wall. I mean, it is what it is.
So
my first day.
There's value in that.
Okay, I'm not even saying there's not value in that.
Look, I had no ego though. I did not have a bad ego. Like I have an ego, but I have a healthy ego. I didn't have an ego to where like it's an unhealthy ego. So I was like, I humbled myself, and I'm like,
right.
Man, I gotta learn. This is amazing, dude. This little dude just shut me down. I gotta learn it. But the guys that have a bad ego, they will quit.
Yeah.
Those guys, and then you don't want those guys anyway.
Well, but see, someone who has, okay, you don't want them if they're not able to change, but you can't know whether or not they're going to change unless you let them kind of get in there. So it's like, for me, I'm not big on knocking anybody out early on. It's like,
I didn't say we kick them out, but I'm saying they kick themselves out.
If they kick themselves out, but then if they're kicking themselves out, then again, dude, I'm an educator long term, and I'm like, anybody can learn. Just about anybody can learn. How are you teaching them? You know what I mean? So it's like, I know my jiu-jitsu style. When I teach, I am very authoritarian. I'm like, look, I'm not really asking your fucking opinion. Here's what you do, blah, 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 and I leave it at that. But I'm also no fool. I recognize there's a lot of different people, and they learn a lot of different ways. So if we're trying to capture the most amount of white belts as we can, I'm not sure that just throwing them to the wolves is the way to go.
So, okay, so
like that was back in the day,
sure.
Yeah,
it was back in the day. Yeah.
I don't think that shit. I don't think that's the way to do. I'd give them just a couple of weeks just to at least get used to learn something. Yeah. Know how to tie your belt. Know a little bit. But this is the traditional shit. Know a little bit about jiu-jitsu. Know your belt ranks. Know the simple positions. Learn how to break fall.
Yeah.
Learn how to shrimp. Learn how to, because here's the thing, right? Hell, break fall. I throw a guy in day one. He's rolling, and let's say he is a little bit aggressive, right? And let's say his aggression and maybe a little bit of athleticism does allow him to pop out of the guard of a blue belt because that blue belt's going. And then the guy pops up and jumps up to his feet. And then our blue belt just naturally jumps up to their feet, right? Now we're in a thing where the blue belt's like, oh shit, we're going. he grabs him, he tosses him, right? He doesn't know how to fucking fall because he's never done a break fall. Why? But his natural inclination was, I need to get on my feet.
Yeah.
Well, now shit's all fucked up because it should have never happened. It should have never progressed to that. It should have been, hey, simply just here's how you pass. Here's how you pass. Here's how you shrimp. Here's how you break fall. Here's how you do a freaking a judo roll. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's how you stand in base. Those things I think need to happen. They need to understand at least some of the components of jiu-jitsu before you just throw them in and start saying, go ahead and do jiu-jitsu.
I have no problem with that.
So
that's
a couple weeks.
Just saying, learn a few words before you start trying to speak the language. Right?
Absolutely.
Learn a few words.
Absolutely. Because otherwise, all you're doing is teaching them the curse words.
Yeah.
And that's fun. You know what I mean? It's like everybody likes saying shit, fuck, all that stuff, At least I do. But teach them some of the simple language before you teach them all the crazy
Some
shit.
schools hold them back farther. Like, they'll hold them for like months. Now, that might be a little excessive.
I think that's excessive, but I get it. I understand. And because if the culture in that school is we're trying to build them into something in particular, like that school might be like, hey, we have a set path we want you to walk in order to get to what we consider to be the next level. I'm cool with that too.
But here's the flip side to that, though.
I wouldn't like that school.
Okay, so here's the flip side. Okay, so I have two little points I want to make. All right. Number one, we've been doing jiu-jitsu for like how many years now? Like 40 years?
Yeah, between us, fuck, yeah.
And for the last, I'd say 35 years, it's been thrown up to the wolves.
Yes.
And it's worked out pretty good. Like, we're good. Everybody survived.
Well, wait. No, so it hasn't been thrown to the wolves for the last 35 years. No, I don't even think that, dude.
30 years?
No, it's been since then, but it hasn't just been thrown to the wolves from the time it started to now.
No, I'm saying go back to 1993. When you first started day one, they probably just threw you in and started rolling.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That probably just stopped maybe 5 years ago.
Nah, more than that,
10 years ago?
10 years.
Okay, so 10.
Easy. I'll say this. There are definitely black belts who have come up under the kinder, gentler type 100%, way.
100%.
So I'd say maybe even more so than 10 years. I'd say the transition was
but not all schools, though.
Not all schools, hell no.
Way.
But
no way.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what school right now just throws you to the wolves.
I'd say 90%. 90% of schools. If
and
you
I guess
day one, you're
what do
roll.
you mean? Okay, so wait, is rolling throwing to the wolves?
Yeah, just rolling.
All right, then I'm looking at throwing to the wolves a little bit different.
Here's a different.
See, throwing to the wolves to me means they're gonna beat you up.
No.
So okay,
like you're rolling.
Then
first class, like you're gonna roll. Like some schools don't let you roll.
All right, that's not throwing. I wasn't looking at it like that for throwing to throwing to the wolves. Mean hey. Here's your food.
No.
That's when you throw me to the wolves. I think I'm food, and they're all about to eat. That's what I'm thinking about throwing to the wolves. So, and that's not the case.
In a sense, okay. So let's just say you're day one. Okay. Now we're gonna get some sparring in. Slap hands. Get your partner. You're just day one. All right, go ahead. Find some. Like you're kind of fed to the wolves, right? You make it a nice guy, and you make it a not so nice guy.
Well, but that's it. See, that's the thing.
That's kind of throwing the wolves. That's what they do, though. I'd say 90% of the time. And here's one thing that may be good from that, is that you get to roll with a guy the first day. I've rolled with many guys, and I'll roll, and I'm like, damn, man, you're pretty athletic. Or maybe he sucks. I just don't say anything.
Right.
But I may see a guy, and I'm like, yo, dude, you're going to be good, bro. I would tell you right now, I see you in a year from now, you're going to be solid. You know why? Because your instincts were good.
Yeah.
You had natural ability. You did this, you did that. So, and I'll build them up. Like, just keep it up now. Don't do this, don't do that. You're using a lot of strength. Obviously, we have to talk. But I'll recognize natural abilities that some people may have, and like I said, and I'll try to build them up. And if they don't have it, I just don't say anything. Yeah, we'll work with you.
I ain't gonna lie. Rarely do I see true natural ability. I see a motherfucker who used to train something else.
That could be.
You know what I mean? That's not. I don't see just some guy who's never done shit, and then all of a sudden
it's rare.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, watch what I can do." Nah,
it is rare.
I hardly ever see that. He wrestled. He played football. He did something. He did something that allows him to understand aggression and freaking competition. You ain't just getting some motherfucker.
But some guys just play like football or something. They're like,
but football is a fucking good way to.
Or like soccer.
Yes, something that pushes your boundaries.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying if you're just Joe Schmo and you're like, It's like, oh, I just pay my taxes.
We like
and
accountants.
I like hey man, listen, accountants are fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. They say Open Mac Chronicles.
Hell yeah. Hey, fuck that. I'll never say I hate an accountant. That motherfucker's important, bro. Yeah. I had to pay my mortgage and shit. So, natural ability. I don't know, man.
It's rare. It's
rare.
Because if you have natural ability, you're going to discover it probably in
way earlier, and you'll have done something.
Play football. Let's play
exactly.
Run track. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking about some young kid, then yeah, there's that. Because look, dude, we got that one kid. I mean, what? If you're like what 14 years old and you're a fucking monster and you're in the adults class and doing the thing. I think that motherfucker's like 14, 15. Of course, he should never watch this podcast.
No, the big kid.
That big motherfucker, yeah, he's like 14, 15 years old. No. He would have been a blue belt if he was 16.
I think we're thinking two guys. I'm talking about the guys there Friday, the big jack.
Oh,
he's like
no,
6'4".
No, he's fucking 19.
He's 19.
That's a grown-ass man.
Yeah, he's a man, dude.
Yeah, he's a fucking man.
Super athletic, but he wrestled too, though.
Yeah, he wrestled. I think fucking did football. I think he did all that shit.
Everything.
Yeah, fucking lifting weights and shit.
Lottery.
Picking up fucking cars and trucks by the axle. He's just strong as shit. But he learns fast. Yeah. And but again, it's because he's coachable, and that's not just a natural ability. That's training. Yes. He's trained. He's for very coachable. Years. Like, yeah,
good kid, man.
He is a really good guy. I like that kid. Yeah, me too. I'm about to say, but see, this reminds me of back in the day with John Battle, though, right? Like, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to beat his ass right now because that shit ain't gonna last.
Yeah, you gotta get him in now.
You gotta get him. You gotta get him early.
Get him now.
So
that's
exactly. You gotta put like a little weird fucking thing in their brain and just stuck. They're like, can I beat this guy? Like, can I actually take him? Yeah. I mean, he used to beat the shit out of me. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna fuck with him. You gotta traumatize these motherfuckers. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that. You gotta traumatize them. It is what it is. Fuck it. Hell yeah, that's what it is.
That's too small
the fear of God in his ass. Yeah. All right, so what else are we talking about with these damn white belts? So you get in. Oh my God, we're going to end up having to go into a whole nother white belt discussion because. Yeah, this is just getting them in the door. We haven't even really gotten deep in on the damn training. Son of a bitch. We were having too much fun. All right. You know what? Let's continue with the training as a white belt. We might have to do a whole fucking series belt by belt because we've been here just bullshitting and talking. So pick a school. I ain't going to say make sure it fits your needs. Make sure it fits because... Right.
And what it takes is, I would say, what style do you want to do? If you want to do UFC, right, then that's going to be but that's going to be a different type of school, right? Yeah,
I'm just thinking old school when tough guys used to put on fucking Affliction shirts and shit. Oh yeah, and they're like, yo, bro, tap out and then Affliction. He's like, yo, I train UFC. UFC. Yeah, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
But just try to find something that fits your needs and your wants, basically, right?
Absolutely.
Look at the demographic too. Is everybody there older or younger? Are you 20 years old? Everybody's like 60, 50, right? Maybe some of the best.
You get a motherfucker my age all day talking about, slow down there, young blood, slow down.
Or the flip side, maybe you're older and everybody's 22. Maybe that's not the best fit. So look at all these different things. I would say go to a school a couple of times, different classes, and see the energy, the vibe, see how the people are.
Most places will give you like a 1 week trial or a couple day trial or whatever the fuck.
Man, you know what I would say? Most jiu-jitsu places are cool as a
They're cool as shit, dude.
They are cool. The jiu-jitsu is not. It's not to the point now to like, we don't want to give. They genuinely want to help you and want to kind of put you in the right space. I think.
I swear,
think they have no problem with that.
I am so happy that I found jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Like that's no bullshit. I mean, you know, hell, our boy Uso got 30 fucking years of Taekwondo and shit like that. And I might be wrong, but if I had to bet and ask him right now, which do you prefer? The 30 years of Taekwondo?
We already know.
He fucking loves jiu-jitsu.
He trains every day.
Jiu-jitsu. Every fucking day. I mean, he's a brown belt now, man. And he started in his late 40s, right? Yeah. Late 40s, and
he's like me.
He loves this shit. Yeah. And I think most people who get into jiu-jitsu and they kind of start getting a feel for it, man, you fall in love with this shit. We need white belts, man. Yeah, you always say, right? They're what? What are they to to jiu-jitsu as a whole, to the sport.
They're the lifeblood of the school.
Abso-fucking-lutely. I totally agree, man.
It's like, so this is hilarious. We got a girl at work, a girl that I work with, a really nice lady. And she's like, hey, Rod, so my husband's thinking about doing jiu-jitsu. And, we were talking about it. I gave her little pointers here and there, but I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm not responsible for any marital problems that come up when nobody wants to train every day. Where are you going? I'm going to jiu-jitsu.
She's like, whatever. You love jiu-jitsu more than me. Yeah. It's like, hey.
I'm not liable
That's
for any
funny.
of that.
That's funny. Yeah, right? Jiu-jitsu. We're fucking breaking up marriages since 1901.
Shout out to my coworker. You know who you are.
Oh, shit.
I think we're good, right?
I think so, but we have to revisit the remainder of this. Because we only just got them through the door as white belts.
Exactly.
Like, we really just walked these guys in. We say, hey, now you found a school. You're a white belt. This is it. There's more, man. There's so much more. But, I mean, it's important that you pay attention to what we're saying.
Yes.
Keep in mind, these are our opinions, right? I'm not trying to say that we're the be-all, end-all authority on anything.
It's an opinion piece.
Yeah, but we know what the fuck we're talking about, though. I mean, let's not bullshit it. Like, yeah, we know what the fuck we're talking about, so listen to it. And if you don't think we know what the fuck we're talking about,
leave that in the comments.
Yeah, leave that shit in the comments, and we'll talk about it. It's okay. But get out there and train, because if it's important to you, you will find a way, and if it's not, you'll find an excuse.
On that note, if you liked the video, if you got something out of it, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It really, really helps us. And everyone that subscribes, we see it, we notice it. We really appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah.
Love all you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Us.